Okay, guys. So we were going to talk about adoption. We were going to talk about what is really missing. How many of y'all know this panel? Please make some noise. I need some energy back in the room.
Thank you.
You don't know, uncle? You don't know? You're new in crypto? Oh, you're very old. No, not age in crypto. Okay, so can I take this opportunity in giving you all an opportunity in introducing yourselves for our small little audience here?
So, hi guys, my name is Aditya. My nickname is Eddie, and I started a crypto channel in 2017 with the purpose of educating people in India, because back then there were not much YouTube channels which were making content in Hindi. It was mostly content covering how to make a lot of money, how to become a millionaire in one day with 100x coins. So I thought there was a lot of room where the right education is missing, and that is where Crypto India comes in. And we've been doing it for almost 8 years now, and it has been going well.
8 years. Congratulations.
Hi guys, my name is Kashif Raza, and I'm in this industry since 2017 and have been creating content since say 2018. I have my channel with the name Bitinning. That's available on YouTube and Instagram. Instagram journey has been a recent one, and then I am also on YouTube, close to 4.5 lakh followers on all those platforms. So yeah, really looking forward to this one.
Hey everybody, I'm Sri Ram.
Can you introduce yourself in Hindi?
No. I'm Sri Ram, founder of Eigenlayer, Eigen Labs. Used to be a professor at the University of Washington, Seattle before, and been in the blockchain space 8 years. Eigenlayer is the third largest protocol in crypto, has $12 billion in stake in the protocol.
Well, you've already introduced me. Do I need to introduce myself? No, I'm the old guy in the room. All right, not so old.
Thank you.
Old.
Kashif is going to feel very happy about it, by the way.
I'm the old guy because I come from legacy media. Right. Before I switched to the new age digital platforms, I now run my own digital company. We ran CNN News 18. I was the editor, lead anchor for almost 15, 16 years. And before that, I used to be with NDTV. I've interviewed everybody in this country, many international celebrities as well, but the one person who has stuck onto my identity is the person that our friend here mentioned, who's Sunny Leone. So if you haven't seen that interview, please just Google Bhupendra Chaubey, Sunny Leone, you'll find good partnership there.
I was hoping you are going to say Satoshi Nakamoto, but then we're still stuck there. So let's talk about adoption, right? Now I know what kind of content you have been doing. Shri Ram is a founder, but even he's putting out content. You know, he's also trying to bring in more people onto his chain or onto the ecosystem. I would love to understand actually from you first, right? Because these three guys are crypto native, but then you clearly see the potential.
I'm the new kid. Here I'm the new kid on the block.
Yes.
In crypto, right? I'm the youngest one.
Clearly, because you have seen the potential that these guys have, and maybe get a big payday.
No, I'll come straight to the point. I really think that this energy, which is here in this space of crypto and blockchain, is so stupendous, and it has a force of its own now that I think its time has already come. I mean, it's here already. In India, sometimes due to lack of regulatory framework, and governments will remain governments. They know how to overcomplicate very simple things. But I think that time has come. I've spent almost 4 or 5 hours now here since the morning. I was looking at the age group of people around, and I was generally looking at, what was the event, what was the activity that most people were doing. Everybody's on a laptop, looking at BNB, looking at, prices, fluctuations. This is the lot which is going to be the biggest driver of Indian economy 5 years from now. So as content creators, as storytellers, and no matter which side of the divide you may be on, whether you're legacy media or new age media, I'm a storyteller at the end of the day. I want to tell the stories of all these people. I want to tell the stories of use case scenarios. How are people, you use the word adoption, I would say how are people using these technologies in their very basic day-to-day lives? Governments now have started to use similar technologies. there is talk of launch of a stable coin. Somebody, I met here someone, USDT, Tether, whatnot. So time, energy, excitement. All these three factors here are in abundance. So to me, it's like, it's an open secret. There's no secret about this now, that you have to be in this space if you want to reach out to the largest audience. The pace of growth is so stupendous that if you tell the right story with the right precaution, my only sort of disagreement, and I'm sure I'll be in a minority here, is that sometimes I find content creators in the crypto space are not doing enough education of the user. Kashif does that, which I think is his USP. We're attempting to do that from a policy framework, that what is it that you should be wary of. You see Gautam Gambhir in the ad doesn't mean that you go and you put your money there, right? And there have been enough scams as well that have been reported. That's a huge area, I think a huge opportunity for anybody who, like us, who's engaging with policy creators, with government stakeholders. I find that that's a huge vacuum which is waiting to be filled, and that's why we're here.
Interesting. Sriram, as a founder, right, earlier it was said that every founder should be a community builder, right, or is the best community builder. But now every founder also needs to be a content creator at some level or the other. What do you think is the biggest challenge that you as a founder is seeing in terms of mass adoption? Because we have been talking about mass adoption in our ecosystem since about 3 years, like we are using and misusing or abusing the word, but we aren't seeing that, right? We are seeing, like, if you go to a crypto event, I'm sure this happens to you in US, this happens to me in Dubai, that we see the same faces over and over again. So what do you think we are missing out, that we aren't able to onboard users that would actually create a dent in our ecosystem?
Yeah. I think so when we think about users and mass adoption, there are different ways that you get users, right? Like, think of all the people who hold MicroStrategy stocks. They're all users of crypto in a different way. They're investing in the upside and the new kind of assets that are being created. So that's just the first normalization. They may never touch a chain, and they're still crypto users because they're taking part in the crypto economy in some way. The second one is, if most people will touch crypto without knowing it's crypto. This is a basic, I think this is one of my basic beliefs. And what do I mean by that? Most people don't know, like, how a bank works, but they just use a bank, right? They don't need to know, like, what is the collateral ratio that a bank should have and all this kind of stuff. They just use it and it works. In the same way, most people will use crypto without knowing it's crypto, which means it has to be delivered through rails which are not necessarily, like, perceived as crypto, right? So, and part of the thing there is regulation. I think in the US we're seeing, like, the Stablecoin Act. After the Stablecoin Genius Act, we see a lot of fintech companies, right? It swung, like, the power of regulation. Bhupendra was just talking about working with policymakers here in India. And the power of regulation is, every one of these big companies was saying crypto is a scam, to, like, once the regulation is there, everybody is asking, how can I use this? To the extent that Cloudflare, which is a totally like an infra provider, is saying they're launching a stable coin, right? This is the shift that you see when regulation is clear. And most people are going to be using crypto. They won't know it's crypto. They just have, like, a neobank kind of interface, and then they use it. So that's number two. I think when you think about crypto as an asset, I think people are going to use it, get exposure to it through ETFs, through other kind of asset vehicles. Number two, many people are going to get access to financial assets through things like neobanks. But crypto is much, much bigger than money and finance. That's our bet. It's about trust and verifiability in all kinds of systems. One of the things I'm very passionate about in AI and agents. Today my keynote was on democratizing the agentic economy. Agents as a major force in the world. AI agents which can basically take actions on your behalf. How do you ensure that they're trustworthy? How do you ensure they're verifiable? These things are super important. And again, people will use these things without necessarily knowing it's coming from some crypto rails. It's one of the reasons we rebranded Eigen to Eigen Cloud. Oh, it's like a cloud, you know, you just put your data there. It's just a cloud which is trustworthy and verifiable. That's how we think about it. But on your adoption, I think what we're imagining as adoption, which is everybody somehow like uses a Solana or a MetaMask or a Rabby or Phantom wallet, is not the right framework of thinking.
Okay, I just have to remind myself I'm speaking to a techie, and we'll have to kind of barge in here and there. However, what about the dApps, right? Of course, people who are getting exposure to MicroStrategy or JetKing and all of that. However, what about the dApps? Where are the users? Like if we look at any or rather most of the layer 1 blockchains, we would be ashamed to see that transaction is about $8,000, which is not really expected in terms of the money the foundation has burnt over a period of time. So just specifically on the traction on dApps.
Yeah, the traction on dApps is a great point. So think of Aave, like the most widely used smart contract for lending, right? You can think of Aave as a mechanism for smart contract based lending. You put in assets, you can lend and borrow based on that. Now Aave, the strategy Aave is taking is to actually go to get neobanks integrate lending in their backend. Why would they do it? They do that because they get better yield, they get better rewards. So that's an example of a dApp in the backend and a neobank in the front end. So to answer your broader question, most chains have very little usage. Where do we go from here? I think part of what has happened is we've built many undifferentiated clones. So every chain is basically the same thing. It's just a place where you can trade and transact financial assets. So if we continue to build more and more undifferentiated offerings, it's very difficult the market size right now is not there to accommodate the number of chains and varieties that we have in the market. So that's just the brutal fact that all of us are waking up to. And part of what we have to do is, if this is the way adoption is going, how do we empower many of these things in the back end is a question that we should.
Fair. Can I request everybody to please stand up for me? Just for me. Please stand up. Everyone please stand up. And give Kashif and Addy a huge round of applause for taking the crypto education in India and helping in the blockchain adoption in India. Please give both of them a huge round of applause.
Thank you.
Because
Thank you.
I know both of them on a personal level and the way they have been working and bringing out stuff. Can we clap out loud? Bangalore, fellows. Louder.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. That when you guys started, you were not supported, you were not, helped, but you still went on going. On that note, my question to you is that you guys have done a decent job in terms of bringing people in terms of educating, in terms of helping them be more stubborn in holding Bitcoin. However, the real money over a period of time is the Gen Zs. Now, are you able to see your content connecting with Gen Zs right now to bring in more adoption?
You like to say something? So, it's a great question, by the way.
पहली बार बंदा तारीफ कर रहा है, ठीक है.
So I have a Gen Z at home, and what needs to be done as a content creator, I figured out that Gen Zs generally they are not fond of long content, right? So they were not coming on YouTube to listen to me. They were coming, but I figured out that my analytics is saying that generally the viewer on my YouTube channel is like the audience age is of millennials. So I could, millennials were watching me on YouTube. So I figured it out. And then I said, how to bring them on YouTube? Then I said, it's a waste of time to think on this line. let me go on to the platform where Gen Zs are. So I decided to start this journey on Instagram. On Instagram, I started this journey this year, and I think that worked really well. Because now Gen Zs want to see a short content. They are fond of education, but they want a crisp, short, information. And I think Instagram really worked well. So I went there, and I think that is the right way to do it. If Gen Zs are not coming to you, you go to them. That is the right approach.
Interesting. Do you want to add on something?
I just want to slightly disagree with what you're saying.
Go ahead.
Right? Last month I was at a similar conference where this point was made that Gen Z is interested in crypto and blockchain. Actually, old is gold, right? There are I can give you advertising statistics, right, from a media landscape. It is said that news industry is dead, legacy is dead, newspapers are dead, everything is dead. But the reality is that who are the people who are reading these newspapers? There are still 40 plus. Where is the advertiser going, to reach out to these people who have the money? When you are between the age group of 20 to 30, you're building a career. But in the age group of 40 to 50, middle age, you have disposable income. And again, to come back to it, if, talented people like Kashif and all, who certainly know more about crypto than me, I think if you were to broad base it a little more, get rid of the suspicion which is associated with this trade. A lot of people, I'll give you, the daily view is if I take the word crypto, they say money laundering, right? So it's a bad word.
No, also they are using it in that manner.
They're using it, it's a bad word. So therefore my submission to you is that if you guys, instead of saying that boss, Gen Z के लिए क्या कर रहे हो? आप ये भी पूछो कि जो आदमी जो पैसा लेके बैठा है, वो स्टॉक मार्केट में पैसा बना के 150-200 करोड़ उसके पास है. Why should he or she not be thinking in terms of getting on this journey? That's a question to look at.
Yeah, +1 to Bhupendra on that. 2 months back I was in Korea, right? Korea has much higher trading volume than rest of the world put together, and most people who trade are 45 plus. Mostly women actually. They're trading for their households. They are actually investing to make sure that their assets, have at least some risk growth portfolio. And so, the idea that we only need to focus on Gen Z because it's a natural audience or they understand it, they're digital native, they're AI native, they're crypto native. Yes, it's true, but it's very important to expand on the other side, really, to actually make sure that the rest of the, the legitimacy that comes from, the more established players participate.
And I'm sure that Aditya will come in. RWA. I kid you not, this is a real life example I'm giving you, real world asset tokenization. So I was at the IBW event last year, and somebody gifted me a T-shirt which had RWA written on it. On a Saturday morning breakfast, I was meeting a key government stakeholder, let's say, very senior bureaucrat. He looked at the RW and my T-shirt. You know what he said? He says, "Yaar, ye tum Residents Welfare Association ko pehen ke kyun aa gaye ho?" This is the reality. Now, I'm talking of a solid government, someone who literally sits at the top. And it just tells me that there is such a huge gap in terms of content creators, in terms of storyfying people, storytellers who are not reaching out to this community.
Go ahead.
Just to give you a number, CoinSwitch came up with a report where for the first time in the country, Gen Z has overtaken millennials in terms of the crypto asset value invested. Yeah, Gen Zs have surpassed millennials by a small margin. So last quarter, this report was published, and it made a headline that Gen Zs in India are going for crypto and not for mutual funds and traditional assets.
Wow, these two guys were ganging up on me, right? Now let's give an opportunity for Addy.
Finally, huh?
Finally, talk to them. Addy, tell us that you have been creating content for such a long time, right? When you are creating content, what is the biggest challenge that you are seeing to attract perhaps 40 plus, right? For me, I feel that these guys who are 40 plus, they are not willing to take the risk. And crypto is all about a lot of risk, right? 10%, your asset value going up or down. I don't think an average person from or outside the crypto space can even handle that. But then what do you think is the right approach that perhaps you are doing or you see somebody else do that we all should follow to bring in more numbers on dApps and not just invest in altcoins or meme coins?
So one of the biggest thing that we talk a lot about adoption and developments, dApps, but one of the biggest use case that crypto has right now is trading. It's always investing, right? Even when people look up for your channel, they always look, okay, how will I make money? So one of the biggest challenge that I faced was when we started the channel. So I saw everyone talking about, okay, you buy this, you make 100x, you make 20x. And I was like, they are not even telling that what the project is about. And if you don't know what you're investing in, that's not trading, that's gambling. So I thought maybe there we can come in and we can try to simplify it, explaining to a 5-year-old, because crypto is new, it's technical, it's very complicated, it's not easy. Even for us, it was very complicated. So we were trying to really break it down and make people understand. And then I realized I tried different things because end of the day, if I make educational content, because Kashif has also faced the same, he was making educational content for a lot of, such a long time, but people were not watching his content. He would get really less views. Now it's thankfully doing really good. So I also faced the same problem. But then I realized that if I really want my content to reach out to other people, I have to trick everyone. So I would trick them by saying that, okay, I will teach you how to make money, but then I would shove down fundamentals on them, how the project works. I would put memes to make it more interesting. I would do different tricks, but end of the day, I would try to teach them the right things, because I felt when I started the channel, my responsibility is to keep all my followers safe. And there are a lot of people who give a lot of bad education. So if people like me, people like Kashif, we are not there, then they will follow these guys who are giving wrong information, and they will end up losing money, and they will say, Bitcoin is scam, crypto is scam. So when it comes down to creating content, whether it is an 18-year-old boy or 40-year-old gentleman or 50-year-old, I have followers. I've met people who are 50 years old, a bunch of them, 5-10 people came and they told me they have been following content and they really love it. I've met people who are 50, 60, they brought their son and they're saying, I have brought my son to this conference so he can see the conference and he can do something in blockchain because this is the future. So I think when it comes to content, it's not an easy job. It seems like बैठे video बनाया हो गया, जब बनाते हो तब पता चलता है. तो उसमें it's always about how you modify according to your followers. So yeah.
Very interesting take. I have just a couple of minutes, but I just want to ask you this, that I think with all these guys that they're doing, he's bringing the money, they are bringing out the reach, they are going all out. But the biggest challenge that we are facing right now is government's approval, right? Now, since you have worked with them, you know how slow they are, you know how skeptic they are, they want to block, they at one point of time wanted to ban Bitcoin. They wanted to they wanted to send anyone holding one Bitcoin behind the bars for 10 years, right? This was the Indian government trying to do so. Where do you think the government is missing at the plot totally, because there's a massive brain drain happening? There's already a Web 2 brain drain happened. There's another Web 3 brain drain happening at this moment as we speak.
I think you need people like me on your side, right? I'm like Kashif was one of the early movers, let's say. I think hello. It's back. Okay. I'm saying you need people like us, like me, on your side. Kashif was one of the early movers to this space. See, every conference of crypto I go to, you all look at the metrics of YouTube. Here's the other metric I want you to look at, which is Twitter. The real influence from a government policy-making standpoint is on Twitter. It's still not on YouTube, right? If you work out a mechanism where there is greater association, greater collaboration of those who have bigger followings on Twitter, like how many people in this room can say that the Prime Minister of India follows them on Twitter? He follows me. Yeah?
I think the others are not from the IT cell. So
yeah. So I'm saying that you need your message to go out to a different audience. And I began this as my address. My disagreement with storytelling right now, with content creation in this space, is that you are also unwilling to engage in that right way with the other side. Because you see, you're already convinced that someone who's 40 plus, who's made money, is unwilling to take the risk. So therefore, I'm not going to reach out to that guy, right? Now, I'm the government, I'm Nirmala Sitharaman, or I'm Piyush Goyal, or whoever. I got to look after the interests of that 40 plus entity as well. Just like I need to look after the interests of 20 plus. That's where more people like us are coming into play. It gives me great pleasure to inform all of you. We have a foundation called eSutra Foundation, which is headed by me and a gentleman called Arvind Gupta, who's one of the foremost policy architects for the space of crypto. And we're doing a lot of work. If any one of you, would like to have a chat with us or figure out, you can find me on Twitter. On Twitter, you can find me. And you can see for yourself, of the kind of work, the kind of pressure which is being applied on the government. But it needs more people like you all. It needs more content creators like you all. Like Kashif came for one of the roundtables. If Kashif says that this company is bad, right, I can tell you there are enough people from Ministry of Home Affairs who are hanging around here, trying to also educate themselves from the Intelligence Bureau, Ministry of Home Affairs. Reach out to these guys, speak a language that they understand, and try and reduce the trust deficit. Right now it's a trust question. क्योंकि सामने वाला पैसा नहीं लगाएगा, तो मुझे उसमें बात जाने का नहीं है, 40 plus. I think that approach needs to change somewhere.
Fair. First thing, we welcome people like you into this space because, of course, you somewhere bring in the credibility that we have been lacking for some reason. So thank you. However, since we are running out of time, I would like.
You did not give me enough time to speak.
I know that is why I'm coming to you.
Sorry, I took all the time. Huh? Anchors are used to it.
That is why I'm coming to you. What if you had one appeal to India and to its citizens in terms of spreading the blockchain adoption? What would it be? Please take the stage.
Spreading the blockchain.
Yes.
But why do I have to stand?
For the feel, for the effect.
For the effect.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing that you can do is try to talk about Bitcoin, try to talk about the technology behind it to everyone. Right now, the biggest thing that happens is, and the people that come on our channel, they always are looking at Bitcoin or crypto as a way to make money. Of course, everyone needs money and everyone needs it, but at the end of the day, it's the technology, and Bitcoin is something which is really changing the way how we use money, how we will do things in future, and it is something, it is the technology of future, especially if you're in your 40s or 50s, educate your kids about it because this is gonna become something big, and yeah, I don't know much.
Thank you. Come on, guys, give it up for Adi, Kashif bhai, please take the stage. Your last thoughts?
On what?
On the blockchain adoption, the country is perhaps somewhere lacking. Though we have the biggest, we have the most wallets in the world, right? We guys have penetrated crypto like no other country perhaps, but somewhere something is missing. What is your take on this? or whatever is your appeal to the audience?
Yeah, my sincere appeal to all of you is that everybody is a content creator today. So you don't have to look up to 2-3 people who are going to make content. Everybody in the era of AI, can create content very easily. And as Bhupender ji said, I think each one of you has its own, responsibility over your shoulders. You need to go on Twitter and talk sense. I mean, try to create a content where you are trying to educate yourself and educate other people. If you have a little bit of understanding about this space, more people talk about it, more people start asking questions, more impact it'll have. I don't know if you've watched Elon Musk's latest podcast with Nikhil Kamath. Elon Musk stressed on one thing, that you need to ask questions. And we need to have more people on the planet. So more people means more consciousness that gets come into play. And more people start asking quality questions. Don't be scared of asking questions. Elon Musk, to Nikhil Kamath said that if I would have stopped question, I would not have been Elon Musk. So I think ask relevant questions, put your thoughts. Don't just expect that couple of influencers will come in for you and start putting content. Everybody is a content creator. I was a sales guy. I was not a content creator. I used to be a sales guy. I never imagined myself to be standing here and we identified as a KOL or a content creator. I never thought of it. I used to think content creation as a useless game, as a waste of time. But today I can feel that the kind of impact it creates. So I request each one of you to just think about it, start putting more content, and you have ChatGPT to just figure out how to make a viral content here, guys. So I mean, you have a lot of tools today. So wishing you all the very best, and thank you for coming here. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Come on, guys, give it up, Kashif bhai. Kashif bhai said, you know, he doesn't look like a content creator. We agree with you. You look like a serious principal of a school.
Yeah, I don't wear a jazzy color t-shirt like yours.
I know you're not that cool. It's all right. Shriram, please. By the way, I have t-shirts of you wearing red color t-shirts.
Okay, I'll maybe take 2 minutes on why India should lean in much more heavily into crypto. India is one of the biggest exporter of talent. Okay, biggest exporter of talent. People like me sitting outside India doing a lot of stuff. So biggest exporter of talent and the biggest importer of agents. You know, I was giving this talk today on democratizing the agentic economy. So we are exporting talent and importing agents here. Instead, what would it take to build an internal economy, a closed loop economy where we use our own talent and actually create new stuff in the agentic economy? I think the one thing that you find is, you know, access to trust and capital. So when you can arm the innovators with trust and capital, suddenly you can operate as an innovator on a global level playing field. So India, you know, Balaji Srinivasan makes this claim that your wallet is the new visa. Your wallet is the new visa. If you are on a blockchain, you're a global equal. You don't have to go anywhere to actually operate as an equal because you have the same amount of trust, same access to capital as anybody else. So as a country, I think we need to lean in very heavily into this technology. This is actually, in particular, I think this is in the current geopolitical scenario with, you know, US and China. It's super important that we have neutral, global, self-enforcing, programmatic systems of trust, which is what we're building with crypto. So super excited for us playing a small role in this, but my plea to the government to consider this seriously.
Okay, thank you so much. Come on, guys, give it up for all our panelists out here.